happening there traffic wise? Let's start down San Fernando, make our way up north. I got nothing to tell you about. I got traffic from Freeport heading straight up towards the pretty much the interchange. I got one accident to tell you about. It is northbound and it is before Caroni. All right, it is before Caroni. All right, and that is causing some traffic there. I don't know how serious it is. I hope it's not. Traffic approaching Piaco Lights, Trinity City towards UE, and from Valsain to Barataria by Courts. Yeah, you got some volume. Then you'll speed up past the interchange by Barataria, and just by Swim Call, you'll get some traffic there for sure. All right, heading into Port of Spain. All right, so let's take a look at what's happening weather-wise. It is 23 degrees and cloudy at Piarco International Airport, 24 with light rain out in Tobago. And of course, our weather for today, it's actually updated. They're saying it's going to be partly cloudy conditions with a few showers mainly during the morning and early afternoon. There's a medium. They're saying 40% chance of an isolated afternoon thunderstorm favoring Trinidad. Mostly settled night despite one or two lingering showers. Gusty winds and street flooding are possible in event of heavy downpours. Maximum forecast temperature for today at Piarco will be 31, 30 in Crown Point. All right, so that's a quick look at the WTs this morning. Let's check some temps across our listenership. Toronto, you're sitting at 9 degrees. Miami at 24. Orlando 22. New York 13. Atlanta 16. London, you got 15. Tampa 22. And Washington, D.C., you're sitting at 14 degrees. So good morning to you all. And good morning to you, Paul Richards. What's happening, my friend?
Morning, Steve Can. Morning.
Oh, I thought you had a frog in your throat there for a minute. Your throat didn't wake up yet.
Just kind of trying to come to terms with that Guyana situation.
Yeah, I saw it yesterday morning, and I did watch. I watched the 7 o'clock news this morning. That is heart wrenching. They're saying it's deliberately set.
They said it may be
Maybe, yeah, maybe deliberately set. And of course, the Prime Minister of Guyana, President Ali, was on the scene, and Guyana has 3 days of mourning. I understand.
Yeah, I'm not
3
surprised. It's
days of
really a
mourning.
really heart-wrenching story. 19 children. I mean, that is really tragic, to say the
Yeah,
least.
but between the ages of 12 and 17, I believe.
Yeah, secondary school students.
Ugh,
Really unfortunate. Our condolences to their families and the Guyana as a country. That is really, it's difficult to lose one child, but to lose 19 children under such horrific circumstances is really heart wrenching. I mean,
yeah, I can't even fathom that.
yeah, it's difficult to even fathom. I saw some really horrible pictures of them taking
Oh,
bodies out and laying them out
oh, I
in the
don't even want,
newspapers in Guyana. So
I don't
I
even
don't know.
want to see that.
I mean, regional leaders, including Dr. Raleigh, have pledged to assist in any way that they can.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't know. It is the story that broke yesterday, that broke everybody's hearts. I read it about 3 times, and I'm saying maybe they have this number wrong, and then it was confirmed.
No,
Then
it was
August
confirmed.
16 and for 14, and it kept rising, and the final count is 19.
Yeah, that's rough. So good morning
Uh,
and condolences to the citizens of Guyana. From all of us here at Paul 102, of course. Let's say Trinidad and Tobago. It is rough because, when it comes to children, especially 12 to 17, you, yeah,
mhm.
that's rough. That's rough.
18 girls and one boy.
18 girls and
And the Kaito News is reporting that it may be an upset student who's set the blaze in the Mahdia region. It's the largest number of fatalities in the country's history. They said back in 2016, 17 prisoners were burnt to death during a riot at the prison. This fire occurred at about 11 o'clock on Sunday at the Mahdia Secondary School female dormitory. The fire services got the call at around 11:15.
Yeah, took
They
7 minutes
said by
to
the time
arrive.
they arrived, the dormitory was fully engulfed. 14 children died at the scene, while 5 died at hospital, and
Yeah,
children's names have been published. Oh, the dormitory is a flat concrete structure, which usually accommodates 59 students. Thank God it wasn't more. I mean, it was bad enough that it's 19.
yeah.
And 4 are still nursing severe injuries. 6 persons were medevaced from Georgetown Public Hospital. And one of the female students who managed to escape was awakened by a scream. When she checked, she saw a fire in the bathroom area, which quickly spread to other parts of the building. Kaito News is reporting they understand the fire was allegedly set by one of the female students of the dormitory who was reportedly upset after her cell phone was taken away before the incident. And it's just really
Crazy.
Yeah, it is unfathomable, to say the least. It's just like purely easily one of the most tragic things we've seen in the Caribbean for a while.
For a long, long time.
I didn't know what to say after that. Yes.
Yeah. And it's on the headlines of two of the
All the
news.
issues,
All the newspapers carrying it.
yeah, and it made CNN, BBC News, because of the size of the situation,
Yeah.
the magnitude and gravity of the situation.
Let me put it on BBC and see what's happening here.
I don't know how to proceed this morning with that news. Anyway.
Yeah, it's a rough one. But anyway, good morning, neighbors. It is a wet one, raining in some parts of the country currently. Um, yeah, raining in Aruka and Chin Chin, drizzle out in Chase Village. Let me send the. I'll send this for you now.
Back in Trinidad and Tobago, Mrs. Pasabi Sessa said she's engaged a team of attorneys to send a pre-action protocol letter to Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley, insisting that he call the date for local government elections now, given the now Privy Council ruling that is well ventilated. And I think we're going to get the date before the end of the week, but I hope we're going to get the date before the end of the week. Mrs. Pasabi Sessa has claimed that some councillors are concerned that continuing to act in their role following the ruling could be seen as illegal. Well, the extension was said to be illegal by the Privy Council. I'm paraphrasing it incorrectly. I listened to 2 callers yesterday. They said people who will justify anything, I don't know. But predictably so, quite frankly.
Yeah.
The spin is astounding. In
You
face
know
of
what?
everything and the Privy Council ruling, which is not appealable, that some people are still trying to spin and justify. I guess we listen to the Privy Council sometimes, or we don't sometimes.
Yes, convenience.
We cherry pick when we want to adhere to the Privy Council ruling, and so that's what we do. In some people's minds, and they will justify and spin it in a million different ways, but it is what it is. the extension was is deemed illegal, uh, uh, and I think the right thing to do. This is just my opinion that it just called election. Let's get on with it. The Elections and Boundaries Commission said that they are ready for the local government election whenever it's called. So
Hmm.
things are in place. Let's move on to avoid any more oxygen, this sucking any more oxygen out of the system.
You know?
And both major parties are ready anyway, so you know, kind of thing.
Yeah.
We will
Oopsie
see how it
daisy.
goes.
Just like this.
And that Guyana thing really threw me off, so I kind of off beat this
Yeah.
morning to be very.
And the papers in Guyana have actually they put pictures of the kids.
Yeah.
So they have done that. Anyway, on our morning poll, you still have some time to vote on it. Our poll yesterday, the results are going to come up in about half an hour's time. It's a simple poll. Should Trinidad and Tobago have fixed election dates? May it be local or general. Should we
See how I'm
fixed
evolving,
election
Zena.
dates? Sorry,
You see how I'm evolving, Zena.
evolving Zena.
Mm-hmm.
I
Zena
suppose
said yes. Most people thought Zena would have said no.
yeah, we thought we actually. I think Wendell wrote it down,
I'm
and she went
I'm bringing
yes.
Zena from to center, more to center. You know.
Yeah.
And if she just pulled that blanket tight over her there, as I say that,
Oh God, don't call blanket. Don't call blanket. I'm being buffed here because I didn't say hellos to our people this morning, Paul. It just slipped me completely. So let me say hellos to people that send us messages overnight. First off the gate at midnight on this, the 23rd day of May. Ken E. Good morning to you. Followed by Trev in Arima. Maria Marva, good morning. Oliver Man Warren. DJ Ray, who's still in Delaware. Goth Cillian Valencia. D. Pierre, good morning to you, D. Pierre. Rena Boodoo Jennings, good morning. Miss Ingrid out in Tucson, Arizona. Good morning to Dennis. Good morning. It's Tuesday. Correct is right. Carol here. Good morning to you, Carol Guevara. DJ Sleepy. Ms. Maloney. Good morning. Um, okay. Ambi. Good morning to you. Um, He says, I have read the ruling of the PC and have not seen nowhere in the ruling that the PC states the election must be held ASAP. Good morning to you, Ray Ray, out in West Palm Beach,
So
Florida.
I guess we should continue with the illegality.
Yeah, I guess, huh? So good morning to you,
Mm-hmm.
Ray Ray, watching us on
Yeah.
YouTube this
The
morning.
ruling is not going to say what we should do in Trinidad and Tobago.
Yeah, so good morning to you. Good morning to you, Ambi. All right. What else is making the news in Trinidad and Tobago? Stepping out of the Guyana situation. Um, EBC says they are ready whenever the date is called, as Paul shakes his head.
No, but the ruling didn't say we should call an election. So what are EBC ready for?
Well, whenever it's called, they say they're ready.
To roll my eyes anyhow, that will roll out of my head.
Yeah.
No, the ruling did not say that. The ruling is not going to say that until the insert itself into the politics. The ruling is going to rule on the specific motion that was filed or petition that was filed by the person, Mr. Balgobin Maharaj. The ruling didn't ask if we should call elections or not. The ruling asked about whether or not it asked was specific to the extension of the life of councillors for a year. Whew. What did I say earlier just now about the spin?
Say again?
Did I say about the spin just now?
Yes, exactly. You did.
It's palpable.
Yeah. Good morning to all the commissioners of police that are in Trinidad and Tobago for symposium.
We should be real safe now, boy.
I know what that.
But all I has
For
had
the
shares
last crime symposium,
commissioners of I'm being
I know.
facetious here. Some people will actually jump out and say that talking foolishness. I'm being facetious.
Yeah,
But
me
that's a
believe
lot of
that.
support from regional colleagues.
Chris
You
Tusa is
understand?
asking, have we heard anything from Watson Duke?
No, he's pretty quiet these days. No, quieter than usual. I mean, let's say quiet. He's a little more quiet than usual. You know?
Yeah, he is. Yeah. All right. We're gonna try and get some people on this morning. I know Paul was supposed to get one. Uh, Sankofa says, and blessings, Steve, I do not hear. Um, yeah, because Sankofa, we're online. We're not free to air. We're
Somebody
online.
just sent me well, this is an old cabinet note.
You getting cabinet notes?
Somebody sent me a copy of a cabinet note, which I won't read.
Gosh, no, when they hear it.
Yeah, but it was regarding the proclamation of specific sections of the Miscellaneous Provisions Local Government Reform Act.
Mm-hmm.
Right. But basically, that sections 1, 2, 3B, 3C 1, 3C 3, 3C 5, 3C D 3, and 3 5 of the Act be proclaimed. And that the President proclaims sections 1, 2, 3B. The sections that just come into operation as of November 8th, 2022. So we shall see how it proceeds. As I said, I much suspect that we get a date pretty soon, but I'm hoping so we can move on. I do
Yeah,
not think it will
get the,
result
get,
in.
you, get the ball rolling.
I do not think it will result in any increased turnout at the polls, the usual poll, lower turnout at the polls for local government elections.
Yeah, the turnout
I
is
don't
always
think
low
I
for
don't
that.
I don't think that people are enthused by the present scenario in local government. So they really don't go out. Trinidad and Tobago gets extremely excited and enthused about general elections, but not necessarily local government elections.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if this imbroglio is going to encourage more people to go out or mean that more people will go out. So we'll see how it goes. Good morning, Jacinta and Riri. So Mrs. Pazabi says she's engaged a team of attorneys to draft a pre-action protocol letter calling on Dr. Rowley to call the local government elections now. Right? So the big story this morning really continues around that horrible fire in Guyana.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
All
the
the headlines.
yeah, it is emotionally staggering. And so we can open the phone lines at 222
Yeah.
talk 222
I actually
255.
spoke to someone in Guyana last evening, about 9 o'clock last night. But I didn't worry to invite him on the program because he's a kind of a fast talker. You know those people who speak quickly, very fast? Because sometimes I don't even understand what he's saying. I have to rewind it in my brain. So it wouldn't be clear to our listeners. I did tell him that. So, but he says the whole of Guyana was in shock when they woke up yesterday morning, um, because he said he got a WhatsApp and he got videos, and I said, well, yeah, I saw some, and yes, I didn't worry because
I don't want
it
to
would been
say
tough to listen to. I told him
I
that
don't want to say
he is
anything
talk
new
real
from that
fast. All right, we have some calls coming through, so good morning to you.
Good morning to you, good
Hey,
gentlemen.
Ellie. Good morning. It is
Hey,
3:25 by you this morning. What are you doing up at 3:25 in the morning, apart from
I,
listening to us?
I just wake up to listen to you guys, man. You know that thing?
Oh my! What time you have to
I
pick
got
up work?
I well I have to work like 600.
Ah, okay. So you wake up early. No
Yeah, I
problem.
got. Hey, good morning, Doctor Paul.
Morning, sir. How are you?
Man, I hear it. Condolences to the people of Ghana, man. I hear it. This thing show you guys off this morning, but I hear it in
Yeah,
your voice, Paul.
it's kind of throws you
Mm-hmm.
off. You really
Yeah, I hear it in you and Steve voice, but like all your like all you probably had a planned show and this thing just
once
you
there's
guys on
children involved at that scale,
Yeah.
any children,
yeah,
it
that's hard,
really.
man. And it's
But if you're a human being, I don't know that
yeah,
you could continue like normal
children.
and just shrug it off. It's just staggering.
Yeah. See, sometimes, but I so sad when I hear that this morning. I say, oh my God, children, man, shit. Oh, hey,
And that it could actually be a child who was upset, set a fire, is even
yeah,
more disturbing.
Paul, the younger generation now is a real different kind of boy. What's that?
Yeah.
I witnessed yesterday. Listen to this, eh? A mother correcting she daughter is 18 years old. She correcting she daughter. The daughter so mad that the daughter take a knife and threatening to kill herself.
To
I was
kill
like,
herself, you
wow,
said?
I kill herself. Putting the knife by her chest and threatening to kill herself.
Because
The
of a
mother even
phone?
try to because of the mother correcting she and phone and talking about somebody who university, yeah, and you would think that these people I was like, wow, I see that as
You know, when I hear stories like that, I can tell you that is not an overnight thing.
yeah.
That child
You train
or
them,
that young
yeah,
person more than likely has been allowed to get away with a lot while
Yeah.
growing up.
yeah,
Because children who
yeah,
are raised in a particular way do not just get up one morning and respond like that to correction.
Mm-hmm.
yeah. You're right, Paul. You're right because you train
When
them,
I see
and
children behaving badly in the mall, because I saw a video on TikTok of a man, they were in a Royal Castle outlet, and the man was telling a woman clearly, um, manage your child. Paraphrasing, you should need to manage your child. And the woman was more concerned with taking a video of the man to put on TikTok
but
than going and seeing about her child in an antagonistic situation. So you and a man whom you don't know are having a verbal altercation, and you are more concerned while he's telling you manage your child with taking a video of him. You understand, to put on TikTok, and then she turned the camera on the man's girlfriend who grabbed the camera out of her hand. So people's priorities are just screwed up. I mean, you and a total stranger having an argument. Pick up your child and leave that area. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
You don't know if it's going to, in this environment, it's going to escalate. You are engaged in a full-on argument with this man with a phone in the man's face while he's referencing your child. I mean, what is your priority?
yeah.
Your priority should be the
Like like
safety and well-being of your child, not filming a video to put on TikTok.
like like I say,
But
like I say, Paul and Steve, that I don't understand. I'm not a big social media person. I don't be on social media. I know again I go just go through. I don't post nothing. I do nothing that. But I just don't understand how this social media thing have so much influence on the young people. But I don't. They have to be online. Almost everything they post, and if they go down the street, if they go somewhere that they post, I don't understand it. I don't know. I just don't understand it. But anyway, I guess I'm probably too old or something, so I just don't understand. Anyway, to avoid this situation with the local government, why just do the leaders on both sides just to call the election when the election is due, call the election when the election is constitutionally due, and you got avoid everything else.
no, the
They,
Privy Council didn't say that. The Privy Council didn't say that, so we shouldn't call elections.
but Paul, I know you're this strong in the deliberation and thing, but when the people call you and don't worry them, you have your opinion on everything. Everybody have the opinion.
No, everybody, if it's
But,
one thing I believe in,
Yeah.
We could agree to disagree. Everybody has the right to voice their opinion in a
I like
respectful way.
I like
You don't have people don't have to agree with me, and that is great. That is the wonderful part of democracy.
and I like the strategy is used. I ain't used it for a while, and the time is now 6:45.
And the time is now 6:30.
Yeah. All right, sir. All right, have a good day.
All right. That's from Los Angeles, our caller, Amral Khan. Good morning, caller.
Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
My condolences to the family of the fallen ones in Guyana. Um, Elliot just said something there that struck a nerve with me, and he's absolutely correct. Right? The period of time from election, local government election is it 3 years? You have
As far as
3
I
years.
understand, yes.
Yes, you have 3 years to make all the changes and put what you want in place and reshuffle and put and organize and whatnot and whatnot. Don't wait till a year after the 3 years. Don't want a year after the 3 years to now put everything in place. I'm not accepting them kind of excuses at all.
Mm-hmm.
Do what you have to do in the 3 years and call the election when it is due. Right? Them kind of political gimmickry and thing. I'm not accepting that at all. You understand? It's unsatisfactory. And one of my concerns is, and I haven't heard anybody talk about it. Everybody is congratulating, including myself, is congratulating the police with the fine of the cocaine, right? But more important to the fine of the
As we
cocaine,
should.
as we should, yes. More important to the fine of the cocaine, on the other side to that, is that we don't grow cocaine in Trinidad. Right? And nobody is, while we complimenting the police, nobody is criticizing them with the same whip to say how it gets here and how it stay here for the period of time. How long was it here? Has it been here? And it seems that if it was found in Trinidad, it may have been in transition to leave. But we ain't get that details as yet.
Well, I don't think that I could be wrong, are the country that consumes $200 million worth of cocaine. So it's clearly a transshipment issue, which the authorities have said for years. We are a transshipment point because of our geographical location and our porous borders, etc.
That may be so, but the question to ask is, did any stay here to be sold here? You understand? There's a lot of questions to the police to be held accountable for.
Mm-hmm.
And why is it only when the Americans get involved by the admission of the Trinidad and Tobago police, right? Why is it only when the Americans get involved, all of a sudden our police have intelligence, words that they love to use recently, to get to seize and detain these things? Left up to the TTPS alone, it seems that we are doomed where guns and drug transitioning is concerned. And that is a conversation that we need to have. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's only when the Americans involved
But this is
the intelligence remains confidential.
This is what I'm suggesting, and we need to talk about that. We need to talk about, is the Trinidad and Tobago incompetent unless the TTPS is involved? Is somebody letting the cocaine pass unless Big Brother watching? You understand the question that I am asking?
Well, you're asking some valid questions, and we've mentioned in the past that I congratulate the TT Police Service for their involvement, whatever level it was with this. But this is one fine. We don't know how many passed or how many are passing without being intercepted or interdicted.
That's one that we know of.
When the help of the U.S. agencies are involved, we just can't help but detain it. You understand? Because Big Brother watching. I am just asking questions, and as I said, people like to say I don't like the police, but I would say the same breath. Congratulations to the fine. You get a lot of drugs of the system. they may have saved lives in wherever it was going to, right? However, I'm still asking the question, did any stay here to the best of their knowledge? Right?
Thank you.
And we have to stop it from coming here, from transitioning. Just how we have to stop the guns. They keep saying that the borders are safe and the boats working and the borders are locked and all kind of thing, but we still seeing Venezuelans coming here every day. They come in and they're telling you when the family.
They're not coming, they're coming and going back and coming back.
Correct.
They're not only coming, they tell you they're going home for a weekend, or they will see me Thursday.
Correct. Right?
All right. Thank you.
Happy 80th birthday to Dr. Ralph Henry, distinguished economist. His birthday was yesterday.
Good morning, guys. Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago.
Ragobarsingh.
Good morning to our listeners, wherever you are. Did you all talk about that horrible
Yes, we
Started with that, yes.
And catch ourselves about that.
in Ghana? Yeah, that's so
disturbing to say the least. And,
I mean,
and the
just
information is that it may have been set by a student who was upset that her cell phone was taken away. That's what Kaita News is reporting anyway.
It's very sad.
Yeah, it's horrible.
That's more than sad. That it just boggles the mind that.
Speaking of boggles the mind, Rich, Paul. Morning, Zena. Good morning, Zena.
When your phone's soft these days, the man throw down your phone again or what?
Good morning, Steve.
Yeah, you need to speak up a little bit, Zena. Not hearing you.
Richard, how come all of a sudden you're not
Because
hearing?
you're whispering.
And I don't find so.
All right, go ahead.
Talk loud. The man go hear you outside you.
Yes, you want to shout for the man to come to here. Well, it's so we're talking. So listen to me. Before I say anything this morning, I want to admonish all you, Steve, because you in control, and for Richard. Here, let me tell you, when I call and I make my contribution, if I don't bring this station into disrepute, I don't want nobody calling and complaining about what I say and admonishing me. I find that man called Lincoln, he too fast and out of place, always listening intently to what I have to say.
But when you call an admonition, Mr. Peanut, you don't mind though.
And one
you can admonish, but nobody else can admonish.
Listen, how often Mr. Peanut does call there? And when I call,
if you have the right to admonish people whose views you disagree with, people can call and admonish you for your views.
And come and talk about I talking garbage. Who the hell is he and what he know about me? I don't know about him and he don't know anything about me. Leave me alone. And I listened to her this morning and she blanket tight over me. I don't know if it's about the P&M blanket story that must does bother he, but it has to bother you. I on this station since the inception. I don't know you. I don't care to know you. So don't interfere with me.
Leave me.
Right.
Don't touch me.
Yes, and like the P&M bothering him. If you
leave
want
me.
Party,
don't touch me.
That is your business.
Mind your business.
Dr. Rowley.
Zena, did you have your cup of coffee for the morning yet?
Not yet.
Zena hasn't even brushed her teeth yet.
So you lie down there up listening and the man bring a cup of coffee for you?
And this is why I want to give all who listening, especially the link on it with the same breath. So you take that and stay off for me.
All right, Gina.
Good morning.
Thank you.
Is there no more room?
All right. Let's say good morning going out to Carol Guevara. Leonard Naipaul. Good morning to you, my friend. Lando. Good morning to you. Why the Lord was wondering. Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Lando. Good morning, Sankofa. Sankofa says this is after the Guyana tragedy. It ought to be reason enough for HTC and government buildings and private homes to review the security drills for OSHA compliance.
Yeah.
Good morning, caller.
Yes, morning, Mr. Steve Khan, Paul Richards.
Mr. Patrick, I get that
Good morning, Mr. Patrick.
I wish I could have shared. Oh my gosh.
You get a what?
a piece of information.
That good? Shit.
Share it.
About Mr. Patrick.
No. Something that concerns national security.
Oh, send it to us in the group
Oh,
now.
okay, okay.
Yeah.
Send it to us. Come on, Paul. We'll stay.
A
Do
change is gonna
Go ahead, Mr. Patrick.
come. A change is gonna come.
The matter concerning the fire in Guyana there,
I'm gonna buff you.
in the dormitory. Some years back, I went up Caribbean Union College to do some enrollment in some classes up there. Nice? It wasn't me, my wife. While I sit down there and waiting patiently, I smell gas.
Where?
Caribbean Union College, where I went up to USC.
Right. Okay. Sorry.
So I smelling gas in the building, the dormitory. So I started to think, I said, wrong here, no garage. So I just shout out in the building, this building gas up. Nice? Everybody watching me, I tell them, hey, let's get out of this place, boy. You know, by the time we leave there, we come down the road. We hear the building burn down.
Wow.
You know what?
I remember that that tragedy at USC's compound.
Right. You know what was the grievance? As students don't get the documents to graduate by. And they burn down the place. So I try to understand how we have so much anger within the system. Anger that we could reach to that point to do the malicious thing, boy. And let me tell you, I'm meeting people right through these days who have anger issues, boy. You guys are happy that you burn down the place. Apologize.
Well, I always think it goes back to parenting and your background.
Yeah. That's how you brought up.
You have an anger with somebody, you mash up the car, you burn down the house, you know, you take a gun and you shoot 10 people. Anger leads to violence. And all going on there. All this young girl, because they take what she cell phone. She gets a vex, right? I go burn down the place. Hey, we have to watch what's going on in this society. Because we see the display in schools and all.
Well, if that is indeed what happened, she has to live with that for the rest of her life.
Yeah.
We see all
If that's what happened, she has to sit down and understand that her actions, if that is what happened, has caused the deaths of 19 people.
So when I hear
If that is what happened, it does confirm to you what happened.
When I hear that fire thing, I realize just so. That didn't happen just so. That didn't happen just so. And look where it reached to. Now, on the election, I believe the Honorable Dr. Keith Christopher Rowley, but we were having some meeting first. Some kind of meeting they will be having first before they call the election. I believe they will call the election, but the city ruler never say at a given time. You understand? And that's why people have a problem with all of the things illegal. They never give a fixed time.
So let me ask you a question, Mr. Patrick. So an action is deemed illegal, right? Is it that we'll let the illegality continue? Is it that what we're suggesting?
No. I never said that.
Okay. I'm just asking for a friend.
Yeah, but no.
Richard, you're answering. If something is deemed illegal, am I wrong to interpret that? That's what the Privy Council said?
No, but I discussed that yesterday.
Right. So the action, the move to extend was deemed illegal by the Privy Council, right?
Unlawful, yes.
Unlawful, illegal, potato. Will you let the effects of the unlawful action continue? No, you correct it.
Because we had this discussion recently where they talk about if the thing is unconstitutional, somebody say it's not illegal.
It didn't. The ruling did not say it was unconstitutional. It was very specific about that.
So therefore, they need to put it.
It said it was unlawful.
Right. So therefore, they need to put it in the Constitution fixed date of election.
But
You
that's a
understand?
different discussion.
Right, so the thing illegal, we know the thing illegal, but then how they moving forward now, if they have everything in place, all the T cross, the dot I, the thing, they need to call the election because they need
Well,
to
as I said,
call.
I must suspect that we will get some sort of information regarding that from the Prime Minister in the not too distant future. Well, I'm hoping. I don't think because the Attorney General did say last week, Thursday, that he was in conversation with legal counsel about the way forward, and understanding what the ruling meant. So, and at that point, he would advise the Prime Minister when he got that information. Well, a whole weekend has passed, and now one day. So I'm presuming that, and I know there's a sitting of the House carded for tomorrow, Wednesday.
After tomorrow, they will call the date. They might call it the date tomorrow.
I don't know. I can't say.
None of us know. We're speculating, yeah. But
No, we are not speculating. You are speculating.
yeah, I speculating. Why jumping on the
Yeah.
floor?
So yeah, I think they'll probably call it sooner rather than later because it just in terms of following what the judgment says and not having to have regional corporations and borough councils and city councils in a state of uncertainty, which is what they are in now. I think the sooner the better. Which is what I'd said, I think on Monday, that they need to
I
move.
agree with that. I
This is
think
the
so.
shortest time. The shortest time is 35 days. You move to that.
Apologize.
But
Apologize.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
Mr. Patrick,
yeah.
we gotta run.
All right.
No, go ahead.
All right.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was working in a place where I see real violence. The party bus shoot. When we were building that party bus shoot, and I see some kind of violence and anger. Yeah, and I make a decision in my life. The minute I see people getting angry when I talk to them, I just
Walk away.
and I go.
Walk away.
I
Just
see
walk away.
nothing anybody. People are easy. Don't watch people and watch them smiling and laughing and things like
Walk
that.
away. Mm-hmm.
That people laugh
Mr.
and smile at you within
Mr. Patrick, we have to get into the news. You can call back after
no,
7.
more important than
Thanks,
all of
Patrick.
that, Paul, Mr. Patrick need to write a book or several books. Mr. Patrick always have a history of every situation
Or a
in Trinidad
play
and Tobago.
called Mr. Patrick. I could see a sitcom called Mr. Patrick.
Mr. Patrick, you have a rich history of so many things in Trinidad. You always have some anecdote that you could refer to. You need to write a book.
Do you have newspapers, sir?
Yes, I do, actually.
Would you care to share the front pages with the audience, sir?
All right, so I'll start with the Daily Express. And of course, just in case you did not know, today is Tuesday, May 23rd, 2023. On the front page of the Daily Express this morning, 19 children die. President Ali declares 3 days of national mourning. Of course, this is in Guyana. Guyana grieves as suspected malicious fire destroys school dormitory.
It's a tragedy.
19 children die, and there are pictures of the children. It is heartbreaking. I don't know. It just leaves you speechless. All these young lives, you know.
Well, Trinidad and Tobago got a gold medal at the Royal Horticultural Society Chelsea Flower Show. So congratulations to TNT. Let's share some good news.
Oh, that just came across your phone because that's not in your newspapers.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. The
So,
presentation is called "This Is Our Native Land." The late Bernard Beckers was heavily involved
yeah,
in that.
Bernard was heavily involved in that, apparently. So anyway, 19 children died. That's on the front page of the Daily Express, and there is nothing else that they could put. There was nothing else. There's no sub-headlines. That's it. And, you know, different pictures and pictures of so many of these young girls. It's just, I don't know. It
It's
pains
really
you.
sad.
It pains you. It does. And on the back page of the Daily Express, and I can't remember, I mean, all of these are 19 families affected, basically.
Yeah.
Daily Express on the back page. But I think the region generally feels for Ghana and
In
feels for what
mourning, the
happened
region is
there.
in mourning with this. No two ways about it.
Yeah. Room for Brian Haynes. Charles still on West Indies radar. Blackman ends with 3 more long course goals. All of that's on the back page of the Daily Express. Moving along to the Trinidad and Tobago Newsday for today. And on the front page, 19 children perish in school fire, Guyana in pain. And there are also pictures, inset photos of the young girls, innocent victims. These composite images taken with permission from the website of Newsroom of Ghana shows 14 of the 19 children known to have perished in a fire. On the back page, Red Force lose by 6 runs versus defending champs in T20 Blaze. Divas fall to Jamaica. Blackman, Thompson earn world champs B qualifying times. And of course, the last daily newspaper in Trinidad and Tobago, I was going to say in Port of Spain, is the Trinidad and Tobago Guardian. And what did they go with? They went with Piako appeal filed. That's the main headline. Kwaitang Ferguson to challenge $900 million judgment. Lawyers prepare for major battle in U.S. courts. 100 carry dock workers furloughed for 3 months. Woman 87 raped and robbed during home
Isn't that a horrible story?
But the good
After
news
women's
is that
invasion.
And the other main
he was apprehended,
story,
huh? That's good news. Good work, TTPS.
the other main story, horror in Guyana. It is the main pictures on the front page of the Guardian is of that tragic story in Ghana, even though their headline went to the Piako appeal file. On the back page of the Trinidad and Tobago Guardian today, the Silver makes second run at Bangladesh A. And that's it for our 3 dailies this morning. That's all you need.
Yeah. You want to, Rich, do the headlines for the Starbrook News or the Ghana?
I have that.
Yeah. If you quickly find it, it's on your phone.
Okay.
You got it there, Rich?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So the headline there is 19 die in Madia Dome arson, others in hospital. This is from the Starbrook News in Ghana. Woman killed in Church Street accident. That's another headline. And it's also a picture of all of the little girls, young ladies who were killed in that fire. Oh, just so sad to see it.
It's just heartbreaking.
To see the faces, it's to put faces to what the story. It's like, you know,
It was.
The families.
19 died in Madia Dome arson and woman killed in Church Street accident. All of that is on the front page of the Starbrook News in Ghana. And on the back page, Clash of the Titans, formidable CSK in Gujarat Titans way of second straight IPL final. Okay, that's it.
All right. And that's from the Starbrook News paper out of Ghana. Let me give you the results of our morning poll that we asked you yesterday. We asked you, should Trinidad and Tobago have fixed election dates? That was our poll. And 88% said yes, we should have fixed dates for elections. All right, let's get into this morning's poll.
Oh my God, I see somebody say there's something called ultra crepidarian. Is that a real word?
Ultra what?
Crepidarian.
I saw that recently.
Yeah, a person who criticizes judges and gives
Without
advice
any
outside the
expertise.
area,
Without any
of his or her expertise. I don't know
I
anybody
saw that
like
the
that.
other day.
I don't know anybody like that. But it's a good way to tell somebody, yeah? You're ultra crepidarian.
Can you imagine Mr. Patrick saying that?
Why you going to
All
Mr.
right.
Patrick? What the hell? Anyway, what's our poll this morning? Well, there is we do have a conference going on in Trinidad with commissioners of police across the region who are meeting in Port of Spain, and they're looking at a crime plan, I think a regional crime plan. Am I right, Paul? With regard to reducing crime and violence across the Caribbean.
They're collaborating about the experiences in their various jurisdictions about crime, which share many commonalities. And yes, some sort of regional crime approach is being contemplated. So the question can be, will a regional crime plan help crime in Trinidad and Tobago, reduce crime?
Yep.
All right. 222-8255. Toll free North Americans, 866
I mean, what was the word just now?
1099.
Ultra crepidarian.
I mean, it's very ultra
That is actually a word. I didn't even know if it's a
ultra
word.
crepidarian of me because I have no law enforcement expertise.
Oh my God. I don't know if it's actually a word. Ultra crepidarian. Oh my God. Anyway, so coming out of the Commissioners of Police conference, it's a regional conference with commissioners of police across the Caribbean meeting in Port of Spain, and they're contemplating a regional crime plan to deal with crime and violence across the Caribbean. So do you think a regional crime plan will help the situation in Trinidad and Tobago? That's our poll this morning. Do you think that a regional crime plan will assist in the reduction of crime in Trinidad and Tobago? That's our poll this morning. 222-TALK, 222-8255. North Americans, 866-525-1099. People on the web and the app. You can send your votes via the messaging portal on those platforms. People in other parts of the planet, 1-868 is what you'll be required to call. 222-TALK, 222-8255. Do you think that a regional crime plan being contemplated at course of that Commissioners of Police conference in Port of Spain, do you think a regional crime plan coming out of it will assist in the reduction of crime in Trinidad and Tobago? Are you optimistic about that? That's our poll this morning.
All right. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Steve. No, I am not optimistic at all.
All right. Thank you. Troy says yes. Long Islander says no. Trev and Arima says yes. Ken E. No, it will not. Good morning to you, Mo Gaines. Alistair Hart, good morning to you. Yes. All right. If you like the guys, Alistair and Kenny, and send us a message via YouTube or our mobile app and website at power102fm.com.
Or you can call us and give us your vote on air. We always like hearing from you and where you're calling from.
Yep.
So our poll this morning, do you think that a regional crime plan as is being proposed at that Commissioners of Police conference that's taking place in Port of Spain, regional Commissioners of Police conference, do you think that a regional crime plan will be able to impact the crime situation in Trinidad and Tobago? Are you optimistic about that? That's our poll this morning. What says you?
Good morning, caller.
Good morning again, yes.
All right.
Thank you, Zena. So 222-TALK, 222-8255. North Americans, 866-525-1099. People on the web and the app. Use the messaging platforms there, and you can send us your votes, yay or nay.
All right. Let's see. Mo Guest says no. Lorna. Good morning, Lorna. Morning, Indy. And of course, good morning to you, Carly. Nope. DJ Ray in Delaware says no. Miss Ingrid in Tucson, Arizona. Sadly, no. All right. 222-8255. Toll free North Americans 866-525-1099. Our number is directly into our studio. Yeah. All right.
So you heard the poll this morning coming out of the Commissioners of Police Regional Conference. So commissioners of police from across the region are meeting in Port of Spain for the next 3 to 4 days, I believe. And they're contemplating a regional crime plan to reduce crime and violence across the Caribbean, because it is a problem across the Caribbean. Do you think that a regional crime plan will impact on the crime situation, of course, positively, in Trinidad and Tobago? That's our poll this morning. What says you? That's our poll.
Yeah. Let's see. Frank Edwards. Good morning to you, Frank. No. Donna Clark. I'm positive. Thank you so much, guys. DJ Sleepy. No. CJ out in New York says yes. Right? So 222-8255. Of course, you can vote online. Of course, we give results come tomorrow morning when we give you the final results. All right? Final results. Okay. Again, if you're stuck on the Solomon Hochoy Highway and you're in traffic, there is an accident. Southbound Uriah Butler Highway. It is before Caroni. Yeah. After Warren Road is when you're going to get that, where that accident is. Okay? All right, let's get into our major news. EV Sin Hill Bab is in.
This is your news bulletin from Power 102 Digital.
Opposition leader Kamala Persad-Bissassa tells attorneys draft a pre-action protocol letter calling on Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley to call local government elections now. The Elections and Boundaries Commission has meanwhile said it's ready for the local government elections whenever it's called. Concerns raised about the impact of crime on the country and initial investigations into a deadly fire at a secondary school dormitory in Guyana have revealed that it may have been started intentionally. Details in a moment. This is news to 7 o'clock on Power 102 Digital. I'm Avril Sentel Bab. Good morning. Opposition leader Kamala Persad-Bissassa has engaged a team of attorneys to draft a pre-action protocol letter calling on Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley to call local government elections now. Persad-Bissassa revealed that this at last night's UNC Monday night report as she threatened to take the government back to court if a date for elections is not revealed soon. She added that the letter will also call on the Prime Minister to explain the current standing of councillors and aldermen following the recent Privy Council judgment. Persad-Bissassa claimed that councillors are concerned that continuing to act in their role following the ruling could be seen as illegal. The Elections and Boundaries Commission has meanwhile said that it is ready for the local government elections whenever it is called. EBC's corporate communications manager Bobby Rogers gave the confirmation yesterday while speaking with the Express newspaper. Rogers said the EBC's mandate is the conduct of elections and its day-to-day operational activities, allowing for it to be in constant state of readiness. She added that a national field exercise will also be conducted to verify voters. Minister of National Security Fitzgerald Hines says as more developed countries strengthen their defense against the invasion of criminal activities, it is clear perpetrators are diverting their attention to the Caribbean region. Minister Hines made the comment while addressing the 37th annual general meeting of Caribbean Commissioners of Police at the Hyatt Regency Hotel in Port of Spain on Monday. The theme of the conference is transnational organized crime, a growing threat to regional security. Minister Hines said daily in CARICOM at least 14 people are killed due to interpersonal violence. While acknowledging the challenges posed by organized crime to the stability of Trinidad and Tobago and the region, the National Security Minister said the gathering of police commissioners from different Caribbean countries would strengthen their capabilities in responding to these threats. He noted just as criminals collaborate across borders, so too must law enforcement to effectively counter these criminal operations. The National Transformation Alliance is conveying condolences to the families and friends of the 19 children who lost their lives in a fire in the town of Madia, Guyana on Monday. It said no doubt this will negatively impact citizens in every part of Guyana and across the region, and the NTA said firmly with the people, or stand firmly with the people of Guyana during this difficult time. NTA Deputy Political Leader Lorraine Pouchet said, as an original pain therapist and trauma counselor, the issues related to post-traumatic stress disorder, professional intervention is available and accepted, especially for the families and other students from the school of the deceased, to help them cope with and to heal in the fullness of time. Initial investigations into the deadly fire at the secondary school dormitory in Guyana have revealed that it may have been started intentionally. At least 19 children have died in the fire in the central Guyanese mining town of Madia. The fire broke out just after midnight on Monday, engulfing a secondary school dormitory and trapping students. No suspects have yet been identified. You are listening to news on Power 102 Digital to 7 o'clock. Well, finally, here is weather news for the period today until midnight. Trinidad and Tobago, partly cloudy to cloudy conditions with a few showers mainly during the morning and early afternoon. There's a medium chance of an isolated afternoon thunderstorm favoring Trinidad. Mostly settled night despite one or two lingering showers. Gusty winds and street flooding are possible in the event of a heavy downpour. Look out for a forecast maximum temperature of 31 degrees Celsius at Piarco International Airport and 30 degrees Celsius at Crown Point in Tobago. Currently, the temperature is 24 degrees Celsius at Piarco and 25 degrees Celsius at Crown Point in Tobago. Recapping your headlines to 7 o'clock. The opposition leader, Kamala Persad-Bissessar, tells attorneys to draft a pre-action protocol letter calling on the Prime Minister to call local government elections now. The Elections and Boundaries Commission has meanwhile said that it is ready for the local government elections whenever it is called. Concerns raised about the impact of crime on the country and initial investigations into a deadly fire at a secondary school dormitory in Guyana have revealed that it may have been started intentionally. I'm Avril Sintilbab. That was news to 7 o'clock on Power 102 Digital. Look out for more news in full coming up at 12 noon and an update coming your way at 8 o'clock this morning. For more details, log on to power102fm.com.
Up to date and credible. Power 102 Digital.
All right, it is 9 minutes after the hour is 7 o'clock. Thank you so much for joining us on the second hour of the Power Breakfast Show. We've got Paul Richards, we've got Richard Ragobarsingh, we got Ruben. My name is Steve Khan. We'll keep you company until 9 o'clock this morning, all right? Quickly take a look what's happening traffic-wise. Let's see what's happening on the highways, on the byways. As I said, there was that accident. Is there another accident? There is another accident. So I got two on the Uriah Butler Highway. I got one northbound vicinity, just north of, just north of, what road is that? Monroe Road, yeah. And then we got the other one that is southbound, and that is after Caroni, heading towards Warren Road, around that vicinity. All right. If you're leaving Sugarguanas, you've got traffic on that southern main road straight down to Ibis Gardens, Addison Helena, Kelly Village. Also got some traffic. The main road passing through California, Rivulet Road, busy. Shakuva Main Road also a bit busy as well. Usual streets in San Fernando beginning to build. Traffic in the Uriah is beginning to build from Freeport to Sugarguanas, and then heavy towards the interchange going through Santa Rosa to O'Meara Road, Piaco towards Huey, Curep to in the Port of Spain. Eastern Main Road equally as busy in various spots out of Maraval, out of Dago, and going up Lady Young Road. You've got some traffic there as well and coming down. All right, so that's a quick traffic update for you. Hope to help you out in one way or the other. What is Rampage? Okay, so I got Alan Reese saying yes. I got Mo Gaines saying hell no. What is Rampage saying here? Rampage saying yes. Mr. Carapo said no. All right, and that's the Univotes extra that I've got here, Richie Rich.
All right, so our poll this morning on this Wednesday, I wish it was Wednesday, it'll be midweek already.
Yeah.
Tuesday, the 23rd of May. Our poll this morning was, do you think that a regional crime plan will help in the crime situation in Trinidad and Tobago? Coming out of that Commissioners of Police Conference, regional conference that's being held in Port of Spain, Trinidad. We had 19 people voting on the poll in the allotted time. Of the 19 people, 11 of you said no, you do not think any regional crime plan will impact positively on Trinidad and Tobago's situation. 9 of you said, sorry, not 9, 8 of you said yes. So 8 said yes, 11 said no, so a total of 19 in the allotted time. Of course, you can continue to vote on this poll throughout the day, through all programming, and we'll give you the final result tomorrow morning, which will be Wednesday, and which will be then midweek of this week. Of course, I need to say that I would have said thank you to all the people who would have come to the show over the weekend in Sapa, and we have getting such wonderful comments that are, filling up our social media comment section. Like so many people who attended over the weekend, this little piggy at Sapa, which were our final 2 performances in Trinidad. So thank you all for your wonderful comments. A lot of people came backstage too, and they really loved the show. And of course, Tobago, it's now your turn for the absolutely final performance of this little piggy, which will be held at Shore Park Complex on June 3rd, Saturday, June 3rd at 8:30 p.m. One show only, Tobago, on Saturday, June 3rd at the Shore Park Complex. And of course, tickets are already out at the Shore Park Complex, which is already selling tickets. And of course, tickets are already being sold at the Yellow Butterfly Art Gallery, which is on Milford Road in Scarborough, Jade Monkey, which is on Milford Road in Crown Point, and Pablo Supermarket in Roxborough. Once you're in Roxborough, you know where Pablo Supermarket is. Come on. All right, so that's where tickets are being sold. We're so looking forward to Tobago. We're very excited about it. It's a wonderful, we haven't been to Tobago in years and years and years and years in terms of taking a play over there. I mean, easily over 15 years. More than that, I'm sure. But so we're really looking forward to going to Tobago. We don't do it often. And
I can't remember when last you went to Tobago.
Yeah, we're trying to make it part of our theater circuit. So, yeah.
Let me, Pamela, good morning to you, Pamela Phillips. She sent me a message this morning. And she said, deceased Mr. Bernard Beckel attended the Chelsea Floral Show in England yesterday, won gold.
Did I not say that about 20 minutes ago?
I don't know if you said that 20 minutes ago.
Yes, I did.
Okay, well, there you go. So you heard it twice. If you did not listen 20 minutes ago, you heard it again.
Richard, did you see
Congratulations to people at the Chelsea Flower Show. Could we speak
Yeah.
to a couple of them, Paul?
Or you could call Franca.
Franco Phillip?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think Franca was involved in some way with the local leg anyway, because she's the one I saw it on her page. Did you see Ragobarsingh, the trailer, the new trailer for Color Purple,
There's a Color Purple coming out.
produced by Oprah and Quincy Jones, starring Fantasia, Taraji Henson, the artist called Her, the girl from Disney, and others. A totally new version of the Color Purple coming out on Christmas Day, 2023.
In cinemas.
Exploded onto the internet yesterday. Totally finished shooting, and Fantasia is fantastic. No pun intended. Produced
Halle
Oprah
Bailey is
Winfrey
in
had
it
them
too.
on. Sorry?
Halle Bailey is in it too.
Yeah, I think that's her name. Yeah.
Okay.
So the new version of Color Purple is coming out Christmas days, and it's produced by Oprah Winfrey, and I think Spielberg's involved also, and Quincy Jones.
Okay. But he was
So
involved in the first one. That was one of
Yeah.
the...
Yeah, and Oprah acted in the first one, so she's producing it now with Quincy.
And he
others.
wasn't nominated or anything at all for that movie when it was done.
Yeah.
The first, the first Color Purple, which is where we first saw Oprah, quite frankly.
On screen.
Yep.
Because she was on television before.
No, she went to television after.
No, she went to television with her own show after. She was on news before that.
She may have been on news.
Yeah.
But that's when you first recognized her, because didn't she win an award for that?
I don't know. I don't think the show won many awards, unfortunately, because it was an uncomfortable show for many parts.
It was Whoopi Goldberg.
Whoopi Goldberg, Oprah
Winfrey. I think you also had Danny Glover was in it, I believe.
Danny Glover was in it also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I will say that Senior Counsel Larry Lala will join us by video coming up in about 10 minutes time. Yeah, so we'll chat with him shortly. I'm actually trying to get a guest here. I have to get the number. The number I have is out of service.
Guyana.
That's great
My
news
prayers
for
are
the
with
Chelsea.
you.
But we have one goal. Have we won goal before the Chelsea Flower Show? I'm not sure.
I don't know. Let me send Franca's number for Steve.
Yeah. It'd be good to know what the statistics are. I know we've done well before.
Yeah, we generally do well in that competition. But I mean, I'm glad they won because they got the gold medal. Because I mean, Franca and Bernard and they were very instrumental in putting on a show at Big Black Box. I think the day before Bernard passed, or soon, just before Bernard passed, and to raise funds to send the team to the UK to participate in that very prestigious Chelsea Flower Show, which is put on by the let me get the name right. I think it's the Royal Horticultural Society of the UK.
Well, I assume that's supplemental funding, because I would want to believe that the Ministry of Tourism and Culture also will have financed it in part. I want to believe that, Paul, and that you would also be showcasing as part of the flower show why you should visit Trinidad and Tobago.
Well, maybe they did, but I have no direct information that they did.
It's a good answer. You weren't ultra-crepidarian at all.
Maybe they did. I would hope that they did. Given the fact it's showcasing the flora and fauna of Trinidad and Tobago in the exhibit of tropical flowers and fruit. And it's quite an extensive display of local flowers and fruits put on in a kind of amazing setting. It's a large, very large display about the size of, how can I describe that? It looked like about 50 by 40 feet.
Hmm.
And I think most of what you would have had to have on display would have been shipped out, because I saw some pictures of them preparing the local flora and fruits and flowers and local fauna for shipment to the UK. And I don't know how they do it, because I mean, to keep them looking fresh like that,
Yeah.
over a voyage. I know they took them by air, more than likely by air to reach at that time. Wouldn't have been by sea.
No,
Would have been
can't be.
quite the undertaking. So congratulations to the team who represented us and brought back a gold medal for us at that very prestigious show in the UK. So we keep looking for good news to share with you every morning
Yeah.
that can
I'm
raise your
sure, I'm,
spirits.
and I'm sure they will honor, Bernard with that win.
Yeah. Because he was very instrumental in getting the display together before he passed. As a matter of fact, my understanding is that he worked through some really bad headaches to make sure the show. Right, I'm seeing the Guardian posting Kwaitong Ferguson to appeal US $131.5 million Piaco case. It's reported in the Guardian, 900 million TT. So they're going to appeal. I don't think they will stop until all options for appeal are exhausted, because of the quantum of money involved. And National Security Minister Fitzgerald Hines, while addressing the Conference of Commissioners of Police, says that the region must improve crime-fighting techniques.
Because I think there was a, what I think the TGPS does not get, or maybe, well, I shouldn't say they do not get it. Maybe it's just related to their low detection rate. But when crimes occur and they are solved, you need to really broadcast that they've been solved, and that
We
somebody
keep
is being
talking
held.
about the PR and communication that is not consistent
Yeah,
or
because
inconsistent.
because the issue of detection and that you will be caught is part of the war against the criminal element.
Well,
And
I think
many times you see things that happen, and like for example, remember there was that footage of those guys jumping in to the car from the gas station. I think it was in Santa Cruz, where there was a lot of footage. You could see certain characteristics of some of those men jumping into that car, body gait. So I'm sure that they may have some sort of traction in terms of that. You also saw the vehicle number very clearly, but you've heard nothing. And you need to follow up with incidents like that. That if you have caught people, if you are making inroads, you need to give us that kind of information, because it's part of that psychological warfare against the criminal element. And if you're
well,
making inroads, and it means it also has the advantage of boosting our own trust and confidence in you. If you can show that. Now, of course, if you can't, then we're really in that situation. We're really in a
well,
dire situation.
I think one of the major challenges and the changes that need to take place in the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service is it still a 6-month training for officers?
Yes.
Basically,
Yeah,
is that.
I know.
And I think
I don't
that
think
needs
that
to
has changed. Yeah.
I think an officer going into the service needs to spend at least 18 months, you understand, training. And so you widen the training for officers, and while you're going through that 18 months, the vetting process continues to weed out people who are not appropriate for the police service. I think 6 months over the last how many decades, when you look at the success rates of other jurisdictions and how much effort they put into training officers in forensics, in digital means, in all sorts of areas of their what they would have to execute, I think 6 months is a joke now. I think they need to increase that training to 18 months and give them an associate degree in law enforcement or something after that. And while you are going through that 18 months, it is a better opportunity for the service in general or the training academy to assess your suitability for the job and weed out more people who should not be there. I think the bar is way too low for getting into the police service still, and officers graduating from the academy and coasting and not being able to contribute in a real meaningful way to crime fighting. I think that is one of the big changes that needs to take place in the service.
The only time I ever saw where there was a coordinated effort, at least from my memory, would have certain specialized departments and to raise the profile of recruitment in the GTPS was under the Manning administration, if I remember correctly, where obviously there was a plan to advertise for different kind of police officers in different areas, and they were and it was obviously an intent to attract differing levels of recruitment in terms of academics, etc.
But you could enter as a professional. You could enter as an SRP as a professional. Yeah.
That was the only time I've ever seen it. And there was a concerted effort in terms of how it was done and how it was even the advertisement looked.
And I will tell you, there was pushback from the core police service because I have friends and family who entered through that way, and they were alienated, ostracized because they didn't come up through the ranks, because they were given, in some instances, better salaries, and they were given positions that officers were not trained for. So I think the professionalization of the service through that means, because you can come in as an SRP and have, for example, a master's in criminology and bring that expertise to the service, you understand? Or a master's in forensics and bring that expertise to the service, and not wait for an officer, if he or she so chooses, to get that qualification or training. And that's why I said that the training, 6 months is too little bit. In the present environment, we're not training our officers at the level we should. That's why the detection rate is partly so low. They're not getting the kind of training that their global counterparts get. In the Canadian situation, for example, and the UK situations, and in some states in North America, you have to have a degree to be a police officer. The training, and you don't have to go in with a degree, but the training will get you a degree because of the level of training in different areas. You understand? And it also is an opportunity, as I said before, to weed out inappropriate people who are going into the service. Imagine, I've heard stories of criminal element saying, you go is only 6 months, you can make it. You understand? And inserting persons who come from criminal backgrounds into the service because only 6 months. They need to change that 6 month thing. They need to up the whole attractiveness of being an officer in so many different ways, because long ago, when you became a police, and I'm not disparaging officers, there are many, many thousands of men and women who joined the police service and have given yeoman service, but it was a last resort. I can't do anything else. You understand? And it should not be that. They should change the mindset and the abilities of officers through training. And the training should also be continuous, even after you finish the 18 months initial training to get into the service through the academy. And just six months in this environment is just not enough. What are you going to learn in 6 months? You understand? How much socialization you can get in 6 months to have the kind of and then let's come on and say, well, when you hear about the corruption, officers are a microcosm of society, and what we have is the corrupt, because that's why you have training and weaning out of persons who should not be in there. Good morning, Senior Counsel Lalo.
Hi, good morning,
Senior.
Good morning, Steve. Good morning, Richard. How are you guys?
Good morning, Senior.
And congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
I didn't hear anybody say you should not get it.
Oh, well, all right. I will.
Don't comment.
Yeah,
don't comment.
But thank you.
Don't comment. Just say thank you for the allocates. Congratulations on all seriousness, though.
Yeah,
I think it's well deserved. Like when you're senior, you have to dress in shirt and tie earlier, or what?
No. This is the time that I'm in my office every morning.
There you go. You see, working hard as usual. Oh, what? You notice the name tag changer? Larry N. Lala SC.
Very proud.
Yeah, I think you've done very, very well. Your family must be extremely proud. Your wife and your family. I think your family comes from law in many ways.
No, and that's a common misconception.
You're not related to the other Lala?
Not related to any popular Lala. Very humble background from El Dorado. My father was a customs broker. My mother ran my school cafeteria for 32 years, and that is my background.
So you worked
Just tell Richard which school you went to. Just tell Richard.
The Tunapuna Hindu School, and I think the one Steve wants to know is Hillview College.
And Paul,
I'm so sorry to hear that, but at least you rose above it.
It didn't help you, Richard. I ain't seen no ST next to your name, but that's another conversation.
Yeah, thank you.
So we're here this morning we asked you here this morning to discuss the Privy Council ruling, and in terms of a legal mind, tell us what you think because people have different interpretations of the judgment of the Privy Council. What was the motion filed by Mr. Balgobin Maharaj? What was the petition filed? And what does the judgment mean in your estimation?
Yeah, well, first of all, this is Trinidad. People like to say things without having the facts, without understanding the issues. I think that anyone who wants to understand what the case is about, simply go online, type in the name Ravi Balgobin Maharaj versus the Cabinet of Trinidad and Tobago, and you pull up the judgment on the Privy Council.
But legal writing is legal writing, so we may read something and not understand it.
Well, when you read the judgment, I think it's pretty straightforward in what they are saying. The reasoning is a little technical, but it's straightforward what they're saying. Some of the clips that you've been seeing from the judgment are very easy to understand. So I'll invite everyone. We all live here. This is a very important matter to the electoral history of the country and the jurisprudence of the country, and I think it's important for everyone to go and have a read of the judgment. Even high school students, etc. Go online, read it. So what happened when there was the coming into law of certain provisions of the Municipal Corporations Amendment Act I think in November of 2022. Mr. Balgobin Maharaj challenged that, and he was submitting to the court that it is unconstitutional for Parliament to extend, and the government to extend the terms of the councillors and all the men that were elected in the last local government election. And that went to the court, and our local courts found that there was no constitutional breach, that the act was clear, and that the act applied to persons who had been elected in the last local government election, which I believe was in 2019 or thereabouts, and that the effect of the law that came into force extended their terms for 1 year. The matter went to the Court of Appeal, and the Court of Appeal upheld the judgment. Now, I want to make a point. We've been hearing different views about, the breach by the government, etc. I toe no line for anyone, either the government or opposition. And I say this, and I want people to understand what I'm saying. The judgment is not one where the reasoning is very straightforward. And therefore, it is difficult to come down either way to say that the High Court judge got it wrong, that the Court of Appeal got it wrong, and because politics is involved, the Court of Appeal always get it wrong, and we have to keep the Privy Council. I don't buy that line of argument. I am a supporter of retaining the Privy Council. But I don't buy that line of argument in relation to this particular judgment, because when you read it, you would see, and any lawyer who is fair-minded would agree that this case, the decision could have gone either way. And that is why you had in the Privy Council three judges agreeing with Mr. Balgobin Maharaj and 2 judges disagreeing and agreeing with the government. It was a difficult decision for them to come to. It was a difficult decision for them to reason their way to a conclusion. And that is why it was decided the way it was. But the point is, the Privy Council is the final court of our land, and they have ruled a certain way. When you read the judgment, the spirit of the judgment is that in the interest of our democracy, it is important that we have an election sooner rather than later. I've said a lot there. I don't know whether anybody.
Yeah. I hear you because basically they're saying beyond the term, it became unlawful, and that the electorate should have the right to choose who
their representatives are.
Yeah, who the representatives are.
Beyond the 3-year term, yeah, correct.
What does that mean, Larry? What does that mean beyond the term it became unlawful? I mean, it sounds like a no-brainer, but I want you to explain it to us, please.
It means that those who were elected in the last local government election for a 3-year term, they have no legal authority to continue beyond that. As of now, they have no legal authority to continue beyond that. I saw in the Express on Sunday, Mr. Martin Daly, Senior Counsel, mentioned the doctrine of necessity, and I believe he's correct that that would apply. So in other words, although they have no legal authority, acts that they would have performed in office as of necessity should be recognized as lawful until this judgment was given. This judgment having been given, I don't see how they could have any legitimacy going forward unless something is done. What that something is that would be done or should be done or could be done, I really can't see.
What does that mean for decisions made since the judgment has been handed down by any councillor or any council?
It means they're prima facie unlawful. It means that they are prima facie unlawful, and something has to be done urgently to deal with that situation. I saw that some of the councillors, some of the UNC councillors wrote to the minister responsible for local government to ask for his guidance, and I think it's important that that guidance comes very quickly.
Yeah. Does the doctrine of necessity continue in any way after the judgment had been handed down?
Well, that is debatable, because you have the court saying that you have no jurisdiction. So I don't see how, in the face of a judgment from the highest court of the land telling you that you have no lawful authority, you could argue, well, as of necessity, well, we have to continue. I mean, and if that is your argument, well, where would that stop? Would it stop next year? Would it stop next month? So you see the point that I'm making, that something has to be done in order to follow through from the judgment. We just can't continue with the status quo.
Something has to be done by whom?
Well, by those with power to do something. That is the government. You know.
Is it a legislative fix you're suggesting?
Well,
in terms beyond the actual holding of the local government elections, which of course is really what the Privy Council is saying. You need to hold that basically as soon as possible. But in terms of this period, this intervening period, do you think that there would have to be some sort of legislative fix for the acts done post the judgment? Or
I would say this, that it could be a legislative fix, but the legislative fix has to be in keeping with the spirit of the judgment. So you can't say, well, all right, we're going to pass a law to now extend the term and leave it like that, right? Because that is not in keeping with the spirit of the judgment.
And repeat the flow.
Sorry?
And repeat the flow.
Yeah, absolutely. But it could be that you say that, all right, we want to have an election in 3 months or 2 months or whatever it is, in keeping with the spirit of the judgment, because the judgment was very strong on its emphasis on democracy and what a democracy involves. And a democracy involves giving persons the right to vote in an election. So the spirit of the judgment is that an election ought to take place soon. But it may not be objectionable if you pass some sort of legislation to hold things, at least to maintain the status quo until the early holding of the relevant election.
Now, I had some conversations about, because I don't know the Privy Council process, about some orders that the Privy Council may issue within 2 weeks or something of that nature.
No, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what that point relates to.
I have some attorneys raising some point about some specific
instructions,
other documents. Sorry, Richard.
Instructions, is that what
instructions? Yeah.
Instructions from whom?
Really, I had some conversations about some instructions related to the judgment. In terms of,
I mean, of course, as with most judgments, there is implied in it what they call liberty to apply. That is, you could go to court for any clarification you may need from the court on the judgment. So I don't know whether that is what they're referring to, because of course the Privy Council didn't say that you have to hold the election by X date or Y date.
No, they didn't.
Which would have been helpful to everyone if they had, but they didn't. But we have to read the judgment and, as I say, understand what the spirit is, and if we are to maintain fidelity to what we are doing and the democracy in which we operate, then there's one thing to do. You have to go to an election, which everyone has been saying. Now, I mean, I don't want to second guess the Prime Minister, but I think it is unfortunate that to date we have not heard from him on this issue. Right? The judgment was given on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Today's Tuesday. Almost a week, and he has not said anything. I think the time has probably gone, but certainly he needs to say something urgently and indicate to the country what his thoughts are and what is the leadership direction that the country is going to take in relation to this judgment.
Well, there's a sitting of the House of Representatives scheduled for tomorrow. And the Attorney General in his press conference last Thursday did say that he is seeking legal counsel on the judgment, so as to advise the Prime Minister. So I don't know if he's still seeking that counsel. Conversations are ongoing, and then an announcement. I would shudder to think that a parliamentary sitting would happen tomorrow.
And there
one is scheduled for today, but the Prime Minister is not in the Senate, so in the House of Representatives tomorrow, and questions will not come from various quarters about the situation, and so that the nation can get some clarity. So I'm presuming that tomorrow we may get some information, and we're hoping that.
Yeah, I mean, I know we would all want to see that the government, everyone is acting responsibly in relation to this judgment, and that, something will be said to put the country at ease, that look, this is the plan forward, and we are a state of law and order, and this is what we're going to do.
Early in the conversation, which is an aside to the actual judgment.
Yeah.
And you indicated that you were a proponent of retaining the Privy Council.
Yeah.
Could you indicate why?
Yeah, I think that as a society, Richard, we still need to mature a lot. I think, and I've said it openly, it is unfortunate that our Constitution, in the way it is structured, sets us up for a race war every 5 years. And out of that, whatever party wins that war, we expect a merit-based society to come out of that. We know that we don't have it, to a large extent, in some ways we do, but to a large extent we don't have a merit-based society. We have a society where the spoils of war are shared up after an election, and as long as that continues, there will be the feeling every time almost half of the country that they're being treated unfairly. And I think we need to deal with that issue first before we decide to give up the Privy Council. In many judgments that touch and concern our politics, there's the belief that our local courts, for whatever reason, seem to get it wrong. And the Privy Council usually seems to go a different way. I cast no aspersion on our judges. Our judges are hardworking, and they do the best with what they have. But I think there would be a great deal of discomfort in the country if we were to depart from the Privy Council until we address those fundamental issues in our Constitution. Anybody who is fair would agree with me that upon an election, you have all the power of the country being vested in the Prime Minister and the ruling party, whichever party that is. Yes, we could see on paper that we have a president that is independent, etc., etc. That is the way we would hope it would operate, because but the way we go about making selections and the power that is exercised to make selections, I don't think that that is conducive to us believing that what we have is a true democracy. And I think those fundamental issues need to be addressed.
Well, those sorts of issues are really connected to constitutional reform and a recalibrating of the society in a particular direction, which is hard to achieve in the current political climate because you need consensus.
And we need the political will to do it, Richard. Yeah. I mean, I always say our country is a beautiful country. If we get more things right here, nobody in the region will be able to compete with us on anything. We have so much potential, but we waste the potential because of the way we go about making decisions and the way people feel in the country after those decisions are made. We don't pull the resources of the country together in a way that is conducive to us achieving our full potential as a country. And it all goes back to our Constitution.
Yeah.
So that is my view.
So should the public construe then, based on what you've just said, that there is any doubt about the competence of the High Court appeal court judges, High Court judges, given the Privy Council ruling, or is this just part of the process of the legal process in Trinidad and Tobago?
Yeah, in relation to this judgment, this is part of the process. Because when you read it, you understand that this case was a difficult case to decide. You know, I mean, in my view, what convinces me that the decision is a right decision is the judges pointing out that there were no transitory provisions in the legislation. You would understand that perhaps more than anybody else, Paul, that the decision did not clearly see, the enactment did not clearly see that it was to apply also to incumbent office holders as opposed to those who would be newly elected in a fresh election. And in my view, that renders the decision the correct decision. But that said, it was obviously not a difficult decision to come to.
As a country, do you think these situations, because I mean, legal training is one thing, and legal training at a particular level, even though people are legally trained, understanding the law and understanding the interpretation of law is something, it's just part of what we are going through as a young republic. Because I mean, the American is a Supreme Court where several decisions on a daily basis are taken to the Supreme Court because people want their interpretations of their laws in various states, and sometimes we think that, well, it's just law, it's written, but it's subject to interpretation based on various vagaries, and this is just part of what we are going through as an evolving democracy, a young democracy, in understanding what our laws should mean and how they should be applied.
Yeah, absolutely. But the great thing about it is that now there's so much information that is available to us. The law is no longer something locked in the bosom of lawyers and judges, right? the layman could go on the internet and, you could get so much material that you could read and understand, so, and I think that is something that would greatly help the evolution of that democracy that you're talking about.
How pivotal is this moving forward? We've had instances in the past where Mr. Manning delayed local government election. There's been concerns about when elections are held, when Mrs. Pasabi Sessa held the prime ministerial position. How pivotal is this in terms of informing whoever's leading the country and election dates and what is legal or lawful moving forward?
Yeah, I think that this decision is going to be very helpful going forward in the future because of the comments that the judges made about the importance of elections to our democracy and voting in an election and having timely elections. Because one of the points they made is something that we say all the time in our politics, that in an election we vote out a government, we don't vote in one. And the judges emphasize that it is very important to the population to have the right and the ability to vote out a government as opposed to vote in one. And I think those words and other pieces of dicta from the judgment on the issue of voting and elections and democracy are going to be cited quite often going forward in our democracy, whether it relates to national elections, local government elections, or even party elections, Paul, because I saw Ms. Ramona Ramdial writing in The Guardian yesterday, I believe, about her views of the judgment in relation to the internal elections of the UNC, et cetera, et cetera. So, the words of the judges are going to be very helpful and going to be used very often in the electoral process, different electoral processes in our country.
Our colleague Wendell Stephen has often, morning Wendell, cited the need for the local government paradigm to be reposed in the Constitution. Is this judgment an endorsement of that sentiment?
It may not be clear that in the Constitution there is no mention of local government election and local government, the system of local government. But that does not mean it is not important. It does not mean that important democratic rights don't attach to local government, which is something they pointed out in the judgment. But Paul, I spent almost 3 years of my life living in Florida, and I saw the benefits of efficient local government. Where local government controls the schools in an area, they control road paving, they have some level of control over the supply of police services in the area, and things are done so efficiently in Miami in particular because of the power that is given to local government. Central government cannot micromanage everything on the ground, and it's important to give local government real power and also to ensure that as a country we take local government seriously, that we have well-qualified and well-intentioned persons running for office in local government because it has the potential to play such an important role in our everyday life, and much more than it does presently.
Mrs. Pasabi Sessa, the leader of the opposition, has indicated, I saw it in the press this morning, I think the announcement was made last night, that she's engaged a team of attorneys to issue a pre-action protocol. Let me quote it directly so I don't make a mistake. My computer went crazy there, excuse me. Yeah. To draft a pre-action protocol letter calling on Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley to call local government election now. Walk us through that, the possibilities there. Is that a signal of some sort of legal action? I don't know if Larry jumped out. Is there a signal of some sort of legal action?
I lost Richard and I lost
you're back now.
Paul. All right, Richard is
back.
back.
We're all back now. Is that some sort of signal that there's potential for more or further legal action related to this issue if an election is not announced?
I think consistent with what I said earlier about the importance for the government to act in the spirit, in keeping with the spirit of the decision and the urgency of having the Prime Minister say something. Yeah, I think that, that would be a valid call. And if nothing is done, well, yes, it could result in more litigation, and litigation on perhaps fertile soil, having regard to what was said in the judgment.
So suppose the Prime Minister, just for conversation's sake, says on tomorrow, I call the local government election date November 14th, which is
Right.
6 months off. Would that have would there be issues with that, given what you're speaking about with the spirit of when it should be called, because he's given a date at that point, but it's not, it's protracted.
We'll have to, and I would hope that if that is what he is doing,
But I'm not saying that's what he's doing. I'm just saying a scenario may arise.
Yeah, of course. He would have to, I would hope that he would give his rationale, because assuming that the matter goes to court, that is what the court would look at the reasoning behind the decision and the exercise of his discretion. So we get it in the realm of judicial review again, because that is what judicial review is about, the exercise of a discretion. So the court will have to look at the reasons for his decision. It could be that the EBC cannot be ready for local government election.
The EBC said they're ready. The EBC is already stated they're ready.
Well, but I'm just making the point that we would have to understand, and he would have to give the reason for his decision, whatever that decision is. And the reasonableness of that decision is something that will be under scrutiny in any litigation going forward.
And what if the position is, well, we uphold the rule of law and the judgment of the Privy Council, but as Prime Minister, I have the remit of calling the date. So I call the date as outlined in what I interpret as the spirit of the judgment.
He would still have to, I mean, he may not, but assuming the matter goes to litigation poll, in that affidavit that is filed, and one would hope that an affidavit will be filed to explain the rationale, he would have to give reasoning. If he gives no reasoning, then he runs the risk of a court ruling that the exercise of his discretion was not in keeping with the spirit of the decision.
Yeah, because you can't say, to me, you can't say on one hand that you are paying credence or giving due respect to the judgment of the Privy Council, and then saying, well, I will do what I want.
Yeah, absolutely.
That is an anomaly. That does not make sense.
Yeah, that's the point that I'm making,
Yeah.
And it's not in keeping with good governance for us.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't.
I exist sometimes in the realm of the political machinations. So my mind explores all possibilities.
And in fairness to you and your machinations, I'm sure that a lot of people are thinking the same thing. So we'd have to wait and see. And look, I always believe in operating in a reasonable way. And
yeah, I mean, there is nothing that I believe that the current administration is reasonable.
Yeah.
And will do what is necessary in terms of
I agree with
the
that.
election.
And you would hope and expect that they're reading all the views that are being expressed in the various newspapers by different persons, some politically motivated, some seen as independent on the radio stations all over. And I mean, and the call, in my view, has been unanimous that, look, we need to deal with this thing urgently, and there must be an election soon.
Yeah.
Whatever soon is, we'd have to get
well,
some.
Soon is subjective, huh?
Yeah, and I agree with you on that.
A rational reason must be given.
Absolutely.
For any decision taken. Larry, thank you for being with us, man. Congratulations again on your elevation to silk status.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. It's always a pleasure. Thank you very much. Have a great day.
All right. All the best to you, Senior Counsel Larry Lala. Yeah. Hear that ring? You hear that ring?
Coming up, we're going to have Tony Tankai, who is the team lead of Trinidad Tobago's contingent in the Chelsea Flower Show, which won gold. I understand also that Barbados and Grenada also won gold, so let's congratulate them. And so the Caribbean shone brightly in that Chelsea Flower Show in the last couple of days. And
that is great, but I always want Trinidad to do better than everybody else. That's just me.
Well, yeah, we have our inbuilt preferences and support. Yeah, I'm sure, and me too. Yeah, so we have gold. We have golder than their gold.
Yeah. We have a bigger goal.
Gold.
We have a bigger goal.
Bigger gold.
Next thing is the Privy Council ruling on whose gold is golden, more golden than whose gold. Anyway,
All right.
8 o'clock
coming
news
up
is
after.
next, I guess.
Yeah, 8 o'clock news is coming up in a short. Evie will be in a couple of seconds. By
Is
time
that different from a long short? A short short.
a short.
short,
It's a short. There's a long short and a short, you know.
Oh,
Yeah.
is
So we
there?
find out tomorrow what is the short short and what is the long short.
Long short, yes.
No, he said that with such authority. There is a short and there's a long short.
Mm-hmm.
It sounded
You
very.
see, she's here now. It was a
Ultra-crepidarian.
short. It should come 5
That is
minutes.
my word for the
a long
day.
short.
That is my word for the day. Ultra-crepidarian.
There you go. All right, let's get into our news
Everybody will
review.
know that word by the end of this
This
program.
is your news bulletin